Hi all, I am Sagar and welcome to my channel. So let's continue our RHCSA journey of 60 power path practical questions to achieve your RHCSA exam. So today our question number 21 is based on the persistent mounting. So we are going to mount our file system persistently, but instead of using device name, we are going to use UUID, and also for partitioning, we are going to use parted utility instead of fdisk. So in RHCSA exam, you can get a question like, if it is possible that it will not directly ask you that mount your file system in etc fstab file persistently using UUID. It can trick you like, do not use the device name. You can see this third point. Do not use the device names in persistent configuration. Means in etc fstab, do not use device names. Instead, use UUID. So before jumping and directly start performing these tasks, let me just tell you that why we prefer UUID over device name while mounting. So in productions as well, we prefer UUID instead of device names. So let's just see it very quickly. So as you know, in Linux, this etc fstab file is the file for persistent mounting. Means if you want to mount your file system, even after reboot, you use this file, you made entry of your file systems or partition. So there are two ways, like with this dev hdb one, this is nothing but this is your device name. So you can mount your file system or partition using the device name, and mostly in practice or test environment, we mount it with the device name only. And the second option is with the UUID. So you can mount your file system in etc fstab file with a UUID as well. You can make an entry with UUID. So what is this UUID? This UUID is basically a universally unique identifier. Means your device names like dev hdb1, dev hdb2, dev hdb3 have its own unique ID. Like in office, we have our own employee ID. Like this every device name have its own employee ID or a unique ID. Okay, so now let's see why device names are sometimes risky while mounting. So as you know, in Linux, the device names are assigned like these are naming convention giving to SCSI disk, dev HDA, dev HDB, to NVMe disk, dev NVMe 0 and 2. So these are the names given. So what happens on boot? So whenever you boot your files, whenever you boot your Linux machine, your devices are detected in a order. Like these are nothing dev HDA, dev HDB, dev HDB1, dev HDC. These are order. So sometimes what happens that this order gets break. What I mean to say, suppose you have added one disk and you have 5 disks like dev HDB A, B, C, D, E. So in future you have removed dev HDB, any disk you have removed. So your HDB, this HDB can become HDA. So the device name can change in the future, and this happens because of a lot of reasons. Let's just discuss very few reasons. So once the very first reason I've already discussed, when you add or remove disk, any hardware changes happen in your virtual machine, or cloud instance reboot behavior. So if you are aware that if we launch our EC2 instance or server on any cloud, so we do not have access to underlying resources of your cloud. So whenever you reboot your instance, it can happen what AWS or Azure is doing, how they are managing their hardware. Your device name can change from dev HDB to dev HDA or dev HDA to HDB. So what I mean to say exactly is that currently, suppose you have mounted your file system using device name, okay, and in future this dev HDB1 can change to dev HDC1. So when you boot your Linux machine, your Linux machine will not be able to boot because it is still finding dev HDB1. But now dev HDB1 does not exist, it already changed to dev HDC1. So Linux machine will fail to boot. Okay. So in this case, we prefer, because of this reason, we prefer UUID. As we have discussed in the previous slide, that every device have its own unique ID or a employee ID, as I mentioned. So every device name have its own ID. So when we mention it with UUID, this UUID always remains same for every device and device name changes. So if you will mount your file system using UUID, this this issue of booting like you will not face, because this UUID never changes for any device. I hope you got the difference till now. So let's just quickly see what is what is the difference between parted and fdisk. These both are the utilities used for disk partitioning, but there is a huge big difference between them. So parted or fdisk, I can say this fdisk is used for mbr partitions and parted is used for both mbr and gpt partitions. These gpt partitions are like for bigger systems, and this fdisk is, as it is mentioned here, it is better for smaller disk, and parted is better for disks which are greater than 2 TB. So it is an interview favorite question. So sometime anyone can ask you that if I have to partition a 10 TB of a drive, how can I do it? If you will mention fdisk, then it will get a negative number on you. Okay. So the last difference, we can see that fdisk is recommended for basic partitioning and parted is meant for enterprise or modern systems. Now let's just quickly jump into my Linux machine and start performing this task. So what I have done, I have made this question here only in VI editor. So let's just see what is the very first task we have to do is that we have to create a single primary partition using the entire disk and use part. So what we have to do, we have to use the entire disk for creating a partition. First, let's just list out all the block devices or all the devices which are in my system which are available. There are two disks NVMe 0 and 2, NVMe 0 and 3. So I am taking NVMe 0 and 3 right now to partition it. So let's just partition it with parted. I'm using parted and I'm using the device name dev NVMe 0 and 3. I'm into parted screen right now. Let's create the partition table mk label and I'm creating a GPT partition table. Done. Okay. It already exists, but I'm creating it again. Okay. So now the partition table is created. So let's just create a partition now. So mk part primary ext4, and as it is mentioned, sorry, ext4, as it is mentioned in the question that we have to use the entire disk for the partition. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do 0% means start from first sector of the disk till the end sector of a disk. Done. If you will print it now, you can see that it is started from 1049 and ended at 2146 MB. So this makes your 2 GB disk. So let's quit from here and clear the screen. And if you want, you can also update the partition table by part probe and give the complete disk name control. Done. So the second task, let's see. So format the disk using, just give me a second. Okay. Format the disk, the partition with ext4 file system. To format it, we use mkfs.ext4 and we can give the device the partition name NVMe N3 and P1. So I just I know this is the first partition I have created, that's why I'm giving P1. To make it listed out, let me just show you with lsblk. You can see this is the partition of 2 GB which we have created, correct? So this is the only partition which I am giving, mkfs.ext4 dev. Done. So it is partition now. Now let's just see the third point. So it is the third point, the very important point for our question, that do not use the device names in persistent configuration. So what we have to do, we have to list out the UUID of this partition. So I am given the BLK ID I have used. This is to list all the IDs of the block devices. So this is the UUID for my partition. Let's just copy it. I am using Mac. So if you are I am just using Command C. So if you are using Windows, you can copy it in a notepad. But I have just used Command C because I have to use it in next, in this fourth or fifth task. So the fourth thing is when we have to create a mount point named as /backup. So I'm going to use mkdir and create this, or I give any name. I'm just giving it data right now. Okay. Okay, and the fifth thing is configure automatic mounting at boot. Now the main part is come. We have to using the file system UUID. So we have to go to our etc fstab file. Let's go to our etc fstab, and I am pressing Shift G. This is a shortcut. It will take you to the end of the file, and then press Shift A. Now you are at the end and you enter in the insert mode automatically. So I'm going to paste it and I'm hitting tab after that. This is the UUID. After that, I'm giving the mount point, and which is nothing but slash data. Then I'm giving the file system type. Then we have to give the mount options, any mount option suggested. Okay, in 6 point, it is suggested that defaults. So we are just using the defaults mounting options, and trust me, I will these understanding the mounting options. There are different kind of mount options, so I will make a proper video on mounting options to explain each and every mount options, because it is very necessary when you work in the production environment or whenever you are giving interviews to know about each and every mount options. So defaults 0 0, done. Now let's see what is the sixth step we have done. We have given the defaults. Ensure the file system is immediately available immediately available without reboot. So we have to make it immediately available. So we can use mount -a means mount everything which is under the etc fstab file. So it is asking us to reload the daemon. So let's reload the daemon first. Done. Mount -a I have done. Let's just clear the screen. I am doing df-h. You can see that my file system is available at slash data, and the last thing is verify the persistent configuration correctness. To verify it, just use mount and grab your data directory. You can see that this NVMe is mounted on slash data, type is ext4, and the default mounting options are given, this sec label rw and this rel at type. So that's it for today's video. I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the question number 20.